She's the most despised politician in the country, and I would argue for quite good reason.
She's one of the most unpopular cabinet ministers because she has to make the difficult decision.
Rachel Reeves had very little credibility to begin with, and what little she did have has been completely blown up by this recent U-turn on winter fuel payments. She didn't really have an economic strategy. She promised stability, deliberately ignoring the fact that, for all his faults, Rishi Sunak had actually restored economic stability in this country. He got inflation down to 2%. It's now at 3.5%. We were already nailed on for cuts to interest rates had the election not happened under the Tories. The Labour government came in and they made up nonsense claims about some enormous black hole, and their pessimism and their desire to hammer the Tories' legacy actually sent the economy into a tailspin. She's now having to work hard to turn that around, that mess of her own making. Whether Keir Starmer's politically strong enough to get rid of her is another question, but actually, does the public have faith in her? Absolutely not. She's the most despised politician in the country, and I would argue for quite good reason.
I think the cut to the winter fuel allowance, that was a big decision that Rachel Reeves made. She announced herself. The decision to partially row back on it does raise questions about how much influence she has and whether this was a decision she wanted to make or whether she's been forced into making it. I suspect that it's a combination of the two. She's resisted pressure on this for a long time, but yeah, now they're looking at widening the eligibility. And I think that the problem for Rachel Reeves is that means that quite a lot of other unpopular things, like, you know, inheritance tax on farmers, that sort of thing, are now, disability benefit cuts are now possibly up for discussion again. While she might say, oh, these things aren't changing, the winter fuel allowance did change. So they're going to face loads of questions about whether certain things are set in stone, and that is a problem. And I think you can see Number 10 starting to try and assert its authority a bit more over economic policy. So, yeah, it's not a brilliant moment for her. I think she's had a tough few months. She's definitely not been. She's one of the most unpopular cabinet ministers because she has to make the difficult decisions. Like, every chancellor has to do difficult stuff and often has to be unpopular. So I think a lot of Labour MPs are pretty angry at the pummelling they're getting on the doorstep because of a lot of the decisions that the Treasury has made. And I think the upcoming spending review in a couple of weeks, where departments find out how much money is getting cut from their budgets, is going to be pretty difficult.